Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I have taught this class before. However, I am finding that Family Search changes so quickly that it's different every time. So I always go and update my class and make sure I'm still current and I learned some new things. And so I hope that this is beneficial to you as it has been to me. And today, as I was planning for my class and just thinking about it, I thought about how genealogy and family history has become one of the biggest hobbies in the United States. And I got thinking about that and I wondered, well, I wonder what the reason for that is and why are we doing all of this? And I found just by Googling benefits of doing your family history and genealogy and stories of your family, there are so many studies that show the benefits of it. And so I just really quickly wanted to share you one because you're all here. Obviously, you do family history, you want to do family history, whether you're a beginner or whether you're advanced. It's always good to remind ourselves why we are doing this. This is from an article by Resort Lifestyle Communities. So obviously, it's intended for those who are, hanging out at the resorts for their lifestyle. So maybe some older people, but I wish I was hanging out at the resorts. But it said that generations to come can draw from strength and gain life-changing benefits from the family history that you do now. And here are some of the gifts that can come from knowing your family history. One is it helps you make better health choices. I think that's really interesting. And one big thing about that is knowing your family's health history, which may not really seem like your family history, but I remember years ago, I had a genealogist helping me at the BYU Family History Library, where I now serve. And she said, we were going through all of my ancestors, and she said, you better watch out. Most of your ancestors have died from heart problems. And sure enough, as I looked at all of the death certificates that I had, they were heart problems. And I thought, oh, she's really right. So even something as simple as that is just being aware can really help us. Another thing is that it provides a clear sense of identity. It can make you feel resilient. It can give us more compassion and help us understand our own story. So that's just a little plug I wanted to give that no matter what you're doing, as long as you're doing something, you are benefiting yourself and your family by doing family history. So let's get on with front page news. The first thing that I am going to do is I am going to toggle over and I'm going to try, oh, there it is. Okay. I'm actually going to escape this and I'm going to go to my family search sign in. If you can do this, I think it would be beneficial because I am literally going to be using Family Search, my front page, and showing you all of the benefits and the things that maybe not, maybe you're missing, maybe you're not. And now we have an error. Okay, so here I am. I am at my Family Search front page. If you can get here, that would be great. Now, one thing I have found is I love the app. I love the Family Tree app and the Memories app, which are great for on the go, or if you really can't haul your laptop or you don't have access to a computer. But what I do find is there are so many more things that are accessible and easy to do on the actual website rather than the app. So just to let you know, a lot of these things are either not available or really hard to find if you are on the app. So being on the website makes a big difference. So let's just take a look here at what we have. Right here, we can share things. We can share them to our friends. So this is something that's kind of new if you have family groups or friend groups, which you can learn how to do that. And I'll show you where you can send messages to people. Like I said, this is very new. I have sent several messages to my family and gotten no response. So either they don't really see where it is, or, maybe I pushed the button incorrectly or something. But I love it because if you have a picture, or maybe you notice that something has shown up on your feed. Okay, this is a picture right here on your family search, right here on this left side of the screen. It will generally have all of the latest pictures for people in your tree. Not necessarily pictures that you put up. This is one that my daughter put up, but you can see it's showing on my front page because this is kind of the action going on with your family tree. So here is a picture of my great grandmother and my great aunt, and that is a cousin of my mom's. But this might be something that maybe I would want to share with someone in my family. A lot of times we'll find pictures here on this front and think, who in the world is this? I don't know who that is. Of course, I hope that you always know you can click right here where it says view this relationship. This is one of the most helpful, wonderful things. And you can see right here, this is telling me that I am related. It is my mother's grandmother and her sister over here, Mary. So those are the people tagged in this picture. So that's a really important thing to always remember too, is to always tag people. And that's a whole other class. So you can go to the archives and look for the memories app class that I have taught, or that anyone else at the library has taught, and you'll find that. But anyways, so here we are. I love that right away. If you have temple opportunities, if you are signed into FamilySearch and you have those capabilities, those are usually your first thing. If not, then you have this right here, this family messages. What will you share? And I encourage you to try that out. It's fun, at least fun to send the message. So hopefully somebody will answer. But the first thing that I'm going to do, we know we're familiar with all of these topics here, our family tree, search, memories, get involved, activities, and we're going to talk about those. But I want to show you something that is really, really cool. And it's all the way down. You can see I'm scrolling all the way down until it stops. It didn't want to stop for me there. And look what there is down here. So this stopped at this point. Right here, we've got show more. So if I want to see more pictures that are attached to people on my tree, I can. But right over here, we can see we have got all of these little places to click down here. And I'm just really quickly going to show you those because they're so interesting. So for instance, right here, this is what FamilySearch is. And I love learning about this. It's interesting because right here, it's talking about how they protect our privacy, which is something that's important to a lot of people. What they do, what we do, what does FamilySearch and Family Tree do? Where you can find a local center. So no matter where you live in the country, somewhere, usually there is a pretty close family history center. You can actually travel to that location and you'll have access to more records than you do at home. Or you have someone that can help you with your family history. Again, you can also get help online, just like Elder Anderton mentioned. Right here is the Get Help Online. That is the one place that you could do that. It'll take you to FamilySearch, or you can go to the BYU Family History Library website and get help online too, where a missionary just like me is sitting there answering the phone and hopefully can help you. But I love how we said we can at least find someone to help you if we can't. So again, we're not going to go through all of it, but I really found it interesting to just learn a little bit more about the whole program. What is their purpose? How are they developed? All of these are their partners, different ways to contact us. If you want to work for FamilySearch, we even have there's a career tag here that talks about that. So this is a really, really fun thing. And look at all of the things that you can click on down here. Here are resources, locations. So I encourage you just to go down. And again, go down to the bottom there and click on that and see what is available. It's really a fun thing to do. Okay, so now going back down here, this is a really cool thing too. So here are ways that you can volunteer as a Family Search user. And all you need to do, as it says here, is to be passionate about family history or want to learn more about family history. Here are some of the activities that you can do. Improve records. It's a really easy thing that you can do right there. Improve search names. Test family search products, which is a really fun thing to do. Grow the family tree. Volunteer as a research volunteer. You can translate. If you have another language, this is so valuable to us. There are so many records that are translated in the native language, but need to be translated into English for those of us who don't read other languages. And then you can always donate to Family Search, which is a great thing. I'm going to show you this right here, the Test Family Search products. So when I click on there, this is really a cool thing. So once you sign up for that and you can read all of this, it'll give you some options on things that you can test, things that you can do. It'll give you a little survey here. I'm not going to take this right here in front of you, but it'll give you new things that they are testing out to see if they work, and you can give feedback on it. And there are really a lot of cool things on here, different things they're trying out, and it's really fun. So I encourage you to go through there and take the test, a little survey to see where you are in your family history, and look at some of their test products. They're really, really interesting. So those are just things they're considering adding them to Family Search, but they're just wanting to test them first. Here is the blog. And so recently I looked at this and I think it's really fascinating. So it's something you can just read every few days. As you can see, it was last updated June 28th. They have a lot of information there. You can also search the blog. So right here you can see is this right here. And so let's just say we want to learn about the Memories app. Let's see if we learn anything about that. Okay, so you can see right here, they have 2,475 blog articles, which are just kind of, short articles that match the Memories app. So if you want to learn about anything, this is a great resource, a great place you can go. And it's just kind of like a little magazine with family history. I really like it because it focuses a lot on Family Search and the things that are new, things that Family Search has to offer. So I encourage you to go try that. Okay, right down here is a Find Ancestors tag. This is a screen right here that we'll see in several places. It's just giving you a lot of different places to start that process on searching for ancestors. So this one we do find in other places. It just looks a little bit different, the way that looks. Okay, the sitemap, that just shows us how it is organized. And so for somebody that's really techie, they might want to know that. I'm just going to kind of go by that because I'm not that interested in it. But here is DNA. And I thought this was really interesting. They have a whole tab for DNA. I thought, wow, this could be maybe under the blog, but it's important enough that they have a whole DNA tab. And so this tells you what DNA test is right for you. How should you do it? What are the tests available? How can it help us with our family history? So if you've wondered about that, this right here is just a nice little information booth about DNA. And then we have the solutions gallery. The solutions gallery just shows us some of the partners that partner with FamilySearch, and some of them were able to use and how they go with the FamilySearch. Here are the mobile apps. Again, this just gives a little information on all of the apps that we have. So we have the Family Tree app, which is your actual tree. So when you bring this app up, it's going to show your family tree and then give you options of what to do from there. The memories, this is an app that will show all of the memories in your gallery, which are memories that you have personally added. And I find that to be really useful. Again, that is a whole other class by itself. And then we have the Get Involved, which is another way to volunteer. So what I like about the Get Involved, also, it's as you do that and it instructs you step by step how to do things, then you become a better genealogist for your own family history or helping others because you're learning how to do things. And so I really like that. Okay, so down here, this is probably the most important, and this is like your one-step way. Right here to get help, we have Contact Us. What I like about it is you can just click on the map. So I'm in the United States. I'm going to click on the United States, and it gives you a phone number. So really, FamilySearch is so good about answering questions. Really, I don't ever have to wait for very long in calling this number. I think it's like 2 to 5 minutes if someone doesn't answer right away. And it's wonderful, a wonderful way to get help. So there is another way that you can get help from FamilySearch and for FamilySearch. A lot of things they deal with are maybe changes in your tree that you can't figure out. Like maybe a person, you can't add information because it's a blocked person. You can learn why and they can help you understand just the intricacies of FamilySearch. So that is our, at the very bottom of the page. Those are the things that I think are overlooked, but as I've used them more and more, they're very useful. So here I am. Let's say I'm here at the mobile apps. I got to this on the bottom. Just so that you know, you can always click the FamilySearch icon to take you back to your front page. So that is a revelation in itself. I remember when I learned that, I was so grateful because instead of clicking back. So whenever you want to go home, just remember home is right here. Just click on the FamilySearch. So that takes us home. So the next thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at some of the things that we see when we first pull up our front page. So again, here we have the search for an ancestor. Now, again, this is similar to the thing that we've seen down at the bottom. Just another place, another way to do this. But if you're thinking of someone, or maybe you want to add someone to a tree, you can start with as little information as you have. If you don't know a birth year, maybe you just know a location. So for instance, I will just I'll put in my grandfather, Carl Davis. Notice I'm not even bothering to capitalize. Really, you don't really have to do that. And then I'm going to say, I know he was born in Michigan. Let's say I don't know the year, I don't know, but I can guesstimate. Okay, so if it's my grandfather, let's say if I was born in 1967, I'm going to take 20 years back for my father. So let's say 47 and then 37, 27. I'll just estimate 27 for my grandfather. And let's see what it pulls up. Now, I do know the information. And so I know that this one isn't the right one here on the top. So as I am going through here, let's say that I find a little more information. So eventually, as I go through all of these, I would see some people that I know, but let's say that I really did find out. I want to edit this search because I found out that my grandpa was a little older than I thought. Let's say he's born in 1923. Oh, well, look at this right here. So boom, in the second person that it pulled up, I found my grandfather. So you can see that you really do not need a ton of information to whittle it down. I mean, eventually it's good to add some more, but I just find it so helpful. Sometimes hey, I just want to find a person and that's where it is. So again, let's say I'm stuck here. Remember, I can always go home by clicking the home button there. So again, over here on the front, so we have search for the ancestor. I showed you that feature. Right here, if you have the temple information available on yours, then you will see temple information, but you will see also record hints. So let's say I want to show all of my hints. I want to look at all of the records that I have. And what this is saying is, hey, these are all of the records that FamilySearch, the computer, using its algorithm, has figured out are connected to your ancestors. So it's really fun to go and see, wow, look at these are all my ancestors. Now I have found, I know I did read in one spot that the hints that we are given through FamilySearch, and this kind of goes with Ancestry as well, if you use Ancestry, that they are, about 94% effective, 94% correct. Sometimes it's a little less, I have found, but it's really a pretty high capability. And this cuts out a lot of me searching for records that I didn't even know are out there. So this is something that you can do if you want to do family history and you don't know where to start, you don't know what to do. Just go right here and start looking at the records. Remember, you can always view a relationship to see how you are related to these people. So we're going to go back to the home page. Okay, here is one thing that I learned about a few years ago, and I hope that you know that it is here. It is the to-do list. And so you can add your items here. I can see it as a bullet list. So here is my to-do list. These are some things that I want to do. And, a lot of times I will write it on a piece of paper and I have issues making sure I keep that piece of paper. So then I'll have to write it again and again and again. Then it's forgotten or lost. This is a really valuable tool. So if you're working on something and you think to yourself, okay, I'm looking at this record. Oh, but look at this person. I want to find out more about them. Instead of going down the rabbit hole and going off of your original goal of what you're trying to do, jot it down right here. Add it right here. So, find, let's say, Marjorie Davis, born 1923, and I'll just add that right there. So you can see it adds it right down here. Once I click it, it takes it off and it becomes a completed item. So it's really satisfying to use. I love clicking it. And it's nice to just have everything right there. And it's just super useful. Even for those of you that like paper, because I am a paper loving person, this has helped me become more effective just because I can't lose it. So it's always there. That's wonderful. Okay, this is one of my favorite things that I use almost every time I use FamilySearch is my recently viewed. So let's say that I'm looking at this Charles Robinson. So I'm looking at his information and I'm thinking about him, but then let's say I start looking at his mother because I'm going down a rabbit hole, which means I'm kind of getting off of my main goal, which that's the best way to do family history is to have one goal and stick to it. So Then I'm going to go over to Samuel Howard because maybe I found something interesting about him. Oh, and then his father, Stephen Howard. I'm going to go look at him. And then, oh, dang, where was I? So I can either click my back button about 5 times, or I can go home. Remember, I'm going to go right up there to Family Search and I'm home. I'm going to go down here and say, okay, wait, what guy was I looking at? I'm going to show them all right here. These are my most recent people. Oh, okay. It was Charles Robinson. And look, there he is. Boom. So I can go right back to that person. Also, it's very helpful if you stop doing something or you're distracted and you come back to it to remember, where was I? It's right there. So remember, we're just going to go home and it is down here on our recents. So the recently viewed people, right there it is. Okay, and here is where we can invite family and friends. And so it sends a link. Like I said, I've tested it out with my family and no one has responded. So I need to test it again. But if you want to start sharing and posting and talking to your family groups, maybe you want to talk to your first cousin once removed, but you're not that close that you're going to email or text back and forth, but you want to talk to them once in a while about your family tree. Here is a great place to do that, to contact somebody that you're related to, but again, maybe you just don't talk to them every day or very often. And here is your family group. You can see I've created a family group for my mom's family right here. And I've added my cousins, my parents, anybody that would be interested in that group. And you can send a whole message to the family group. So we're hoping that this becomes more valuable, more used. You know, you probably don't want to like send your family reunion invitation there because people do tend to go through stages with family history. Maybe someone won't see it for a year, but again, maybe share a picture or a story you found about your ancestor. Even if it's connected to that ancestor, you might want to point out that they should look at it. And so that's a fun place to do that. Okay, so right here, this is kind of a thing that we saw when I showed you down at the bottom where you fill out a survey and then you can help. This is called Family Search Labs. It's really, really fun. So I'm going to show you what this is. We're going to view experiments, and a lot of these things, they will let you try out if you just say, hey, I want to try. So you can see this is a merge analysis view, which helps you really understand a little bit more about merging, which is kind of a scary thing for some people. You can see I've turned this on. I have their new, I'm trying out their new products. Full text search. Okay, this is really cool because what it does is it will search through records that are not indexed and it will find things in non-indexed items that are you can't use to search. So look at that. I encourage you. I don't have enough time here, but it's really amazing. So I have found some probate records. I have found land records. I have found they only have certain records that they're doing this with, and we're adding more and more records all the time. But it's really cool. I have found several records that pertain to my family here. I haven't tried this yet, family group trees, but again, this is helping your family work together and see the same living tree. So what that means is my brother and I can see the same tree. Whereas if we're independent, I will have his name on the tree, but since he's living, it's just kind of a placeholder, and he has a different placeholder for himself on his tree. If we are in a family group tree, then we can all see all of the people that are living, and we can work with those people as well. So again, kind of complicated. All of these could be their own class, I am sure. So I'm just quickly going through this.
Michelle, we have a couple of questions you might want
Oh,
to look at.
yes. Okay. A picture of my great grandmother appeared on the screen and was so excited I did not tag it, thinking it would always be there. It was not. It disappeared and I can't find it. Ooh,
Well,
um,
perhaps she's referring to the feed, but
right.
maybe, sometimes I've had an ancestor add 40 pictures and the whole thing scrolls away and that you showed
Yeah.
them that see more. Maybe it just scrolled up the front page.
Okay, so yeah, Sarah, I am going to show you that. But she's going to click on the resources and ask, she says, that's really good. Yeah, Sarah, really quickly. So I will just show you. So here we are at home, and I'm going to move this over because I know you're probably seeing there. So I'm going to go all the way down here, scroll to the bottom. You can see right here, show more, and it will bring up more pictures that have been there. And I'm not sure how far away this goes. These were a month ago, but you can keep doing that and seeing if you can find that. So that is one way to do it. Again, it just kind of, the feed, it can't show all of those pictures. So there it is. Okay. And then
And the other possibility, Michelle, if she tagged that grandmother, and which would tag it to her personal identification number, it might be in her grandmother's.
it could be, it could be. I think I read that it wasn't tagged, but yeah, that's always worth trying, is looking there. True.
Then
Uh,
there's a question in the Q&A if you can see that.
okay, it says, I am following in Family Search. Each time I follow to the next item listed across at the bottom of the page, my computer begins at the top of the main page. How can I be at the bottom to select the next item instead of scrolling down to the whole? Oh. Well, I'm doing it so smoothly, but guess what I'm doing? I'm scrolling. So thank you for saying it's smooth. I am a smooth scroller. Here I go. I just went down to the bottom. So yeah, there's not really an option on that unless I might have noticed, let's see. And now I did all those. Okay, let's say I'm looking here at the site map. So I'm looking at this. If I go back, yeah, it's still, I mean, it kind of took me to the middle. So yeah, you just have to keep scrolling. That would be nice if we didn't have to keep scrolling down there. Thank you, Elder Anderton. Tell me if there's anything else. Okay. I'm not sure. Sometimes some of us do, and sometimes we don't have free access to sites. And so I'm not going to really go over that a lot. You can learn about the different sites by looking down in the solutions gallery. So that will talk about what access you have to for sites. And then if you have the ability, you can be a helper to others. Okay, so up here, I'll just show you a couple really cool things. So if we go to our family tree here, you can see there are a lot of things there. Again, we've talked about the recents here. So here's another place that you can find your recents, is just going to family tree recents. Here are the people that you're following. If you have an ancestor that you're following because you want to see if changes are happening, then right there, you can look at each person that you're following. Here you can see your contributions, people that you've added to the tree, and the things that you have done. Again, here is another place, find. This is to find a person in your tree or in the family tree. So when we say your tree, family search, the family tree is actually considered one tree for the entire family of people on the earth. So we're all one big family. To find someone in the tree may not necessarily be your tree, but it usually, when you're trying to find someone, the computer does look first kind of in your tree to say, is this the person you're looking for? Okay, I just want to show you a couple things right here about your the views of your family tree. And I think this again is another class. I think I'll teach a class about this next because this is one of my favorite things. I just really love it. So this is the fan chart view. And if you're not familiar with this, I suggest that you get familiar. It's just my favorite view. Again, sometimes it's nice to be able to see how our family works out looking at it this way, the landscape view or the portrait view. This is a beta product, which means it's just they're kind of testing it out, seeing how things work. So this is the portrait view, and you can always make it smaller here to look for more people. But what I love about this fan chart view is that you can see so many people at once, and I find it really amazing. If I go up the tools, you can see I've got 7 generations. And if I want to go further than that, I can just click on this person on this outer generation, and then I can go up here and say the 7 generations, and then it takes you that much farther. So it's just a better perspective of what you have. From this, I can really see kind of where I'm missing people, where I need to fill in information, where I can do some research. A lot of times we have people that will think that all of, my family tree, all my research is done. My family tree is done, but I just really encourage you to look at each person. Now, again, so here I am. I clicked my outer 7th generation to see how far they go out. I'm just going to go home right here. I'm going to hit this home button and it will take me back to my very own tree. So you can see right here, I am right here in the middle. Let's say I want to do this next guy here, James Henderson. I'm going to click James, and you can see it shows me where I am with his 7 generations going back. So it's a really, really fun way to look at our tree. Again, I'm just going to go home to see what is going on here. Now, I want to show you what this is right here. If we go to this little toolbar, you can see this is how many generations you want to see. So if I only want to see 5 generations, let's say, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I don't have everybody. I just want to see this many generations. You can see, you can go right here to the toolbar. And let's say I want to see my family lines. I'm going to click family lines. And what this shows you is it shows you, so these are my mom's parents. So her mother has a line, her father has a line, my paternal grandmother has a line, and my maternal and paternal. So it's kind of nice here. You can see your family lines. So that's one thing that we can do. Okay, so those are the family lines. So this is a really fun thing to look at too. This shows us the birthplaces. Now, I know that many of you probably have seen all of these things, but it's always a good thing to go back to look at them. Here I can see, look at this. I've got this one person in Switzerland. Oh, here's one person. I have no information for her. So it's really good to just kind of go back. And then again, let's go out all the way to 7 generations and we'll see what I see. I can make it smaller. So I kind of have just like a bigger overall view. You can see I've got United States, which a lot of those are just British colonial America because they go back so far. So that's a really fun thing to look at. I'm going back to my toolbar here and I'm going to look at my sources. So again, you may think, I've got my family tree all filled out. I'm done with that. But do you really have all the information attached? I like to go find as many sources as I can to make a person really come alive. Now here you can see I have got 10 plus sources attached to each person. So our family tree is not just about filling out the names and making sure we have the information there. It is to gather all of the sources that we have out there to help us really flesh out this person's life and to really make them into a real person. So here we can see right where I'm lacking, which again, this is just a struggle area for me right here. You can see I've got, maybe 1 to 4 sources here. Here I have no sources. So you can see it's a good place to see where you need to focus. And so I can see easily at a glance of this where I really need to be doing, spending some time. Okay, so this next one, again, you can see that mine looks really sad. I have added quite a few, but not as many as I could. These are the stories. Now, it's tricky because stories, this is under our memories. And again, there's a whole class about this. If you look in our archives, I've taught a class about memories. Sometimes we may take a picture of a letter, or maybe somebody writes a story and we take a picture of it and put it up onto a person's memory section. That'll still, unless we actually label it as a story, it's going to be just in the pictures. So I have actually more stories than it looks like here. A story is also a great little thing. If you're doing your family history, and let's say you're working on one person. So here I am going to be working on my grandfather. And let's say I remember, oh, this hat. The hat my grandfather has on was given to him upon his high school graduation, and it's very special to him. And I want to write a little something about that. Then I can go right over to my memories and I can add a memory right here. I could right here where it says a story, I could just type up a little story about it. So stories are basically things that we typed in. Now, when you look here at my memories, you can see these are a lot of stories that are not labeled as stories. This is not labeled as a story. Some of my other writings are not labeled as a story, even though it's a writing. So that's something to be aware of, is sometimes it looks like, wow, I have nothing, right? But really we have more than we thought. Okay, and then I was only 2 away, so I'm going back 2 on that. I'm just going to look really quickly. I see that I do have a few questions here in our chat. Okay, let's see. Oh, Control plus End key to go quickly to the page bottom. Thank you, Bill in Texas, for letting us know that. So Control X, we can do that. Fan check, yes, we like to check out who has sources. Sources protect your work from frivolous changes. Yeah, I like that. So, as you may or may not know, since our family tree is one big worldwide tree, we do not have really a single editing license for the people on our tree, except those who are living. So anybody on this tree can go on and add information or change information that I have put on it. And if you do have sources to back up what you say, what you have on there, you can go back and say, well, no, actually, I know this because in these sources, we learn that this information that I had is correct. So that's right. It's very important. That's why sources are so important. Okay. So let's go back again here. Remember, I'm still at the tools. And here's the photos tab. So I have mentioned this. This is the 3rd time, I think, the class on memories. And if you're having a hard time thinking about how to take your tons of family photos, or maybe you don't have photos, maybe you have artifacts, or maybe you have a photo in a frame, or like, what do you do? I encourage you to watch that class because it is so important to add these to the people in your family tree before they are lost or before they're passed on to somebody that doesn't know who they are. So we want to get our photos in the family tree, and it's a great place just to reserve, just to save all your photos and to digitize them. So I encourage you all to do that. So you can see here, I've really worked a lot kind of on my 3 generations here. I've got a lot of photos here, got some here, and obviously it's going to slow down once we get past a certain place where photography really wasn't being used. So all right. So here's another thing that you can do if you just maybe don't know where to get started. You want to do family history, but what do you do? I suggest you go here to the fan chart and let's just go down and look at research helps. Okay. So what I love about this right here, the purples, and here's the key over here, research suggestions. So here, Family Search has kind of analyzed your tree and said, okay, here are some things that you should start looking for. And because you can see they're all up where I have my holes. And so that is a great place to start, is to just kind of look at the problem they suggest that you research, kind of make a plan and start from there. These are my favorite ones. What these are right here, if we click on to this, these are record hints. So if I go, this is my grandpa. If I go over to my grandpa, it'll be there, but it'll also be right here. And this is the hint. And so we click on the hint and we can generally tell by looking at it. I can look at that and say, yeah, I'm 99.9% sure that is my grandfather. I want to view the record and I want to review and attach it. Of course, it's always the best practice to view the record rather than just trusting what is indexed, because sometimes they may not have put a little important detail or an interesting detail on there. So that's for another class also. All right, so I'm going to go back here. Now, one thing you may see is this red one will appear when it says there are data problems. Okay, so I am just going to go to let me go to one of my problematic lines. Well, you can tell it's very problematic because I don't even have people on there. I'm trying to see if I can find a red data problem for you. And what it generally is, I found, it'll say a child is born before the mother's born, which obviously that's a problem. So a lot of times when whoever entered the dates there just got it messed up, but also a lot of times it will just be that you haven't correctly standardized a date or a place. And so that's a really important thing to learn to do, is to learn how to standardize a date and a place. So just keep that in your mind. That is basically a lot of times what that is. So you can invert your colors. You can, again, there we can make it full screen. There are so many things that you can do on this view. So I spend most of my time here in this place on this. Oh, yay! There, it showed a red one. Okay, so really quick, I'll show you. Let's see what's wrong with this person here. Okay, so see, this is saying birth after a mother's death. All right, so that tells me, oh, well, it's if those births are correct, then it's likely a second wife, or maybe it was typed incorrectly. So let's see what this one says. Okay, child born before mother, child christened before mother. Okay, that's a big problem, right? So here are all of our problems. Here are some suggestions of things that we can look at. And, I just want to remind you of this, those of you that do family history a lot, I hope that you do this every month or so, is just kind of go through and do a tree sweep. Look at what I've got here. I have got all these suggestions. I've got these record hints that were found. And so I always like to think that when I put my tree to sleep, FamilySearch, the universe of the web, is working on my tree. And so we need to remember to go back and look at these things. So I'm just gonna see if I can get any of these to do what nope, none of them. Okay. So again, the standardizing is just an easy thing. Oh, and look, here I am. How many steps away? It doesn't matter. I'm just going to go right here and I'm going to go home. And that takes me right back to where I was. Okay. So really quickly, again, that's the fan chart. I really love that, but I'm going to show you this descendancy. A lot of times this will show you places that you can research. So it's just kind of another view of looking for things. So I'm just going to go to this guy right here. I'm going to go to William Redding and I'm going to go to view tree. And because I'm in this fan chart, it's going to bring up the fan chart. Oh, and look at this. So see here, I've already got a hint popped up. The hints are so valuable. I think that that we need to really remember those. And so then I am going to go here and I'm going to do descendancy. Now, what descendancy shows is all of his posterity. So these are all the people that came after him. It's another way of looking. And you can see I've got one little bit of information here. It says, hey, on this guy, here is a place that you need to research. Sometimes you'll pull up one of these that are far away. And over here on the side, there will be hints. There will be things you need to change. There will be research opportunities. So it's always, always a good thing to go and look at each of these people. Okay, and I know I only have got 2 minutes left. So explore this. Explore it yourself. I'm going to take us back to the front by just hitting my family search again. Here I am. You can look at the get involves, memories. Remember that when you look at your memories, if you look at your gallery, these are only pictures that you have put on FamilySearch. It doesn't show all the pictures for everyone in your tree. To see pictures for everyone in your tree, you need to go person by person to see pictures. But these are just pictures that I have personally put onto FamilySearch. So getting involved, again, those are ideas. Now, activities. I love this. I'm just going to do one of them. Go through each of these. It uses your tree to do things, and it looks like it took it off. This is my favorite one. If you go try it, you just put an image on there of yourself, and it goes through all of your family tree and shows you how you look like others in your tree. So if you haven't done Compare Face, then I really encourage you to try that. Okay, I'm going to try it again because I know I have previous images up there, but it is not showing them. So I encourage you to try that. Okay, so I know I've done a lot. I've talked a lot here. Any other questions or any other information? I'm looking here. You're welcome to those that are saying thank you. You're welcome for this. I hope it's been helpful. You can always reach out to us. There's always a place to go where you can figure things out. Okay.
Somebody asked, a memory photo popped up sideways. I cannot locate a way to return to proper portrait. As a memories expert, Michelle, you know that other people will even put in a picture you've already put in, and theirs has cracks in it and is sideways and is not cropped. Well, there's actually nothing you can do about it unless you chat with them and say, hey, look, can we clean up this picture a little bit? You're messing up the memory section.
That
Or
is right. That's
so
right.
if their picture is sideways, if it's your picture, you could delete it, put it the right way, and put it back. But if it's
Right.
sideways and somebody else put it on, there's nothing you can do about it except communicate with them,
Yes.
right?
Sorry, if somebody else has done it, yes, if somebody else has put that on there, then yeah, there's nothing you can do. You can always, okay, so right here you can adjust your images. If you put the picture on, I put this picture on here, so I can rotate this image
Ah,
however
there we
I
go.
want. So you can also do brightness, contrast, and I always recommend, cropping your picture to a nice tight picture. You want to see what's most important, which is really the faces. So if you have people standing in a field, you're going to want to take that down. So I hope that answered. Let's see. Okay, I think, yep. Okay, that was all. Those were all of our questions answered. Okay, everybody. So I wish that you could just talk out loud, because I'm going to say, well, I'm just going to give you a quick quiz and say, how do I find the last person that I was working on in my family tree? And I hope that you would remember to say, sorry, somebody wrote, okay, I'm going to go home here to Family Search. And then I'm just going to go down here to my recently viewed. So the last person I looked at was William Redding. So again, one of the most helpful things. So this was fast and furious. I know there's so much on here. And like I said, we didn't even go over this information. It changes every week. Whenever I look at it, I feel like it's changing, especially fast lately. So get to know Family Search, but don't get comfortable, because you're going to find new and improved tools. They're always bringing new things on and always improving the search engine and everything that you can do with Family Search. So thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next time.